At WAIC, we've always believed that every child deserves to be seen, loved, and given the chance to belong. Today's conversation celebrates parents who made that belief come alive in the most beautiful way by choosing to adopt children with special needs. We are honored to have with us three amazing mothers who remind us that love truly knows no limits. We have with us Kavita Baluni, an adoptive parent who's shifting perspectives around adoption and Down syndrome. She started Learning with Veda in 2017 to change the narrative around Down syndrome and special needs adoption. Through her work, she encourages people to see the value in a person without labels, judgments, or comparisons. We also have with us Anushri. Anushri is a senior BFSI professional, adoptive mother to a little warrior princess who you see right there, who came into her life just last year. And our very own, we have Smriti Gupta, who's a co-founder at WIC. She's an adoptive parent to two kids. She also writes regularly a blog that provides balanced and refreshing perspective on adoption for adoptive parents. Smriti and her husband adopted their younger daughter in 2014 and their older one in 2016. She's a champion for the adoption of older children and children with special needs. It's a pleasure to have all three of you. Welcome. Thank you so much for making time and joining the panel today.
Thank you.
Since,
Thank you so much.
Since we are all here because of the lovely children in our lives, before we begin, would you like to tell us a little bit about your kids? How old are they? If you're comfortable sharing their special needs, we can start with you, Kavita.
Hi, Pratima. So my daughter is 9 years old now. She came home when she was 16 months old, and she has Down syndrome. It's a genetic condition, and I'm homeschooling her. And yeah, life is just beyond beautiful with her.
Wonderful. So nice. So nice. Anushri, tell us a little bit about yours.
Yeah. So, no, if I ask Meher her age now, my daughter, she'll tell me that she is 5 years old. And I
Okay.
think rightfully so because she is the strongest, smartest, and the fastest kid for her age. It
Oh.
wasn't the case when we got her home. We got her home when she was just 11 months. She was in the NICU. She was ventilated for 3 days, and her MER read that she had cerebral palsy. But as it stands, like I said, and you mentioned in my intro, she's been a warrior, and she's surprised us all. Yeah.
So nice to hear about Meher. Smriti?
So, hi everyone. First of all, thank you for joining. It's good to see so many people, attending this session. So about my daughters, they are 11 and 12 now. So our older one, she came home when she was around 3.5, 4 years old. At the time she came home, like from her MER, we knew sort of like, what the special need looked like, but it didn't have a name. And many of you may have faced that or may face that where there isn't enough information. But anyway, so when she came home and she was diagnosed, similar thing that Anushri mentioned with cerebral palsy, so which is a huge umbrella term. It talks, it's about a lot of various motor movements. So for my daughter specifically, it impacts her legs. But there is she's independent, and she's one of there are days when I feel like she's probably more sensible than me. So, that's that's a totally different story, but there it is.
Yeah, it happens to all of us as parents, I think. But it's so good to hear about all the children and lots of love and blessings from all our sides to all of them. Let's start with the very first question that we have. Then, Smriti, let's start with you, and we'll talk a little bit around the motivation, just the fact that these children are in our lives and what happened to get them there, right? So, Smriti, as someone who's been both a parent and an advocate in this space also, what led you and your husband to adopt, in particular, to consider a child with special needs?
Um, so I think the reason was very simple. I think the reason was we felt we could do it. Right. So for us, adoption was by choice, right? In the sense that, we always wanted to adopt. It wasn't something that we came to. It's something we were sure of even before we got married. So adoption was a very natural thing for us. And then when you know, start looking into it and you figure out that, you know, the youngest of babies or the babies with, you know, normal conditions get adopted very quickly, but it's the older kids and the kids with special needs, right? Like that kind of get left behind. So we learned a little bit more about the ecosystem. I think we were pretty young and naive also, which really helped. So I think it was just like, okay, what can we handle? And we felt there are certain physical needs we could handle, so why not? So
Mm.
it's a very simple answer, but just, you know, we felt we could do it, so, you know, we went ahead with it.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm so glad. I think both of you coming together and deciding that together also, I think plays a huge part, as a team when you decide to do something, plays a huge part. A similar question to you then, Kavita. Your journey with your daughter and learning with Veda, it has inspired so many. So what made you open your heart to adopting a child with Down syndrome?
So, frankly, it was never my plan. I think this was God's plan for me
Mm.
because I was a child who had, soft corner for adoption as a teen, um, as a grown up. But somehow, when I met my husband and as I grew, I felt like I don't want to be a mother at all, a biological mother. I don't want to have kids. Soon I got married, me and my husband, we were traveling, we were blogging, and we went to US. And we decided to be child free couple, like
Mm.
forever. And if we ever feel like we need to have a family, we will adopt a child. Okay.
Mm.
But somehow I was in US and I heard the term Down syndrome. And suddenly I'm like, what is Down syndrome? Why I never saw a child with Down syndrome? So it was my fault. It was my that I was unaware of this fact that who are the kids with Down syndrome or any other disability. Then I started researching. I started reading blogs. So what is Down syndrome? How it looks like? And then there were so many families in USA sharing their journey, and I'm like, why I never saw anyone in India adopting a child with Down syndrome? It it happened in 2016 or 15. I don't remember clearly. So I told my husband that we always wanted to have a child in future. And there are kids with Down syndrome who have no less or no chance to get adopted in India. How about we become that family instead of waiting for a family who can come and adopt kids with Down syndrome? So it was like an year we discussed about it, researched, but we noticed that we were only researching about Down syndrome, not about life with Down syndrome, right? So it was all love. It was coming from the place of love. We had no idea what future is going to be like. We were so much into just giving the child a home and parents. And that's how we came back to India, because when I mailed Kara, they said that from US you can't because you guys are Indian citizens. So we thought maybe this is the right time. There must be a reason we are feeling so much inclined towards this idea. We came back, we filed for adoption, a home study and everything, and Veda was home within 45 days of home study.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
because we had no idea that it would take such less span of time. We were like, okay, it will take 1 or 2 years. We will update everyone. We will tell everyone. So yeah, I never say this was my plan. This was God's plan for me. And somehow I feel that these kids with special need, disability, they deserve a home. Every child deserve a home. But our kids with special need, they rarely get that home. So I started with this thought, let's be a home for one child at least. Yes. And that's how my journey started.
Oh, wow, it's so lovely to hear. And you're so right. Even today, the special needs adoption numbers are really, really
Exactly.
well below. Right,
Exactly.
less than 100 probably. We'll not have a lot of numbers there. And I see a lot of prepared, both of you put a lot of effort in preparing yourself, but also a lot of why not? This is
Why
something.
not?
Why not?
Exactly. I tell everyone that I couldn't find a single reason. Me and my husband were sitting with, okay, pros and cons. There were so many like pros, like, oh, a child will get a home. We have the sufficient money. We are not rich, but at least, I mean, if we are whatever we are eating, we can feed a child, right? There will be doctors. We were aware there will be um, some some level of medical issues, but con we couldn't find. We couldn't find a con. What will happen, and what if people oppose or whatever? There was no con. We couldn't find a reason not to do that.
Right. So good.
Yeah.
So Anushri, to you the similar question. What attracted you even to this whole idea? I think, and Meher has just come last year, right? I think
Yeah, 2023. She's barely 3.5 now. Yeah.
yeah. So what drew you to adoption, and especially the looking at the special needs category? What made you do
Yeah.
that?
So, me and my husband, we registered in 2020, right in the midst of COVID. So your 18-month wait period just became 3 years, 3.5 years. And we started from a couple who wanted to adopt a child in the normal category. But in the course of us waiting, thank God for that wait period, because then we discovered categories of special need and immediate placement. And by the time that we sort of reserved Meher, हम लोग ने special need पूरा छाट लिया था. I used to sit almost every other day. I used to look at the kids, their MER, CSRs. So like Smriti was saying, every special need actually is on a spectrum. Whether it is cerebral palsy, whether it is cleft lip, cleft palate, hearing loss, and there are so many, right? There are over 80 categories probably. We knew that between me and my husband, what our bandwidth is and what we can really manage. So when it came to Meher, by the way, she was the third child we reserved. What really took us to special need was the fact that, as you are aware, they give us 30 days to decide versus just 2 days in normal category, right? That also drew us to the fact that we'll get time to prepare. And we just got lucky because Meher's agency actually allowed us to meet her before we got her home and reserved her. So we could spend time, with her pediatrician, and I spoke to Smriti, a lot of other people who told me what the worst case could be. And both me and my husband were really fine with the worst case. And touchwood, it's just turned out so good for us, because right now we are just staring at a place where initially we had to put in a lot of effort, and it just beautifully worked out. So it was very organic, even the decision to adopt, and the fact that special need came into our lap. And like I said, thank God, if it wasn't for special need, Meher would not be with us. So that's how it really panned out for us.
Yeah, and so Anushri, the amazing thing is the special needs list is there for everyone, but you
Yeah.
took time to go through it, and so yeah, I know Kara has done a lot in terms of giving subcategories and more and more.
Yeah, yeah. So they've added this thing called newly added children to special need. They've in fact internally in the back end, they've said that there are about 7 categories of special need, which includes cataract, hearing loss, and others, where they want the agencies to focus on getting those children into normal category. So you can imagine, even Kara accepts that these are temporary situations of special need. So for parents, like me, who are not sure but who have bandwidth and can actually read through and understand the worst case, please go through it, because special need gives you time and nothing happens to your seniority. Like I said, we done it thrice over, not like we were shopping. Genuinely, in one case, the birth mother came back. In second case, it was immediate placement. It turned out to be an extreme case of special need where we wouldn't be able to manage. And the third one, of course, where we said yes. Nothing happened to my seniority. Of course, don't go with the idea that you want to randomly select. But I'm happy that in India, people have come to a place where, if there was a new child added, when my daughter was there, I took 2 minutes with my husband saying, I'm reserving her because ये fastest finger first हो जाता है sometimes. So we literally did it knowing that it is cerebral palsy, but we are okay with some things written on the MER, and we went ahead and reserved her. So yeah.
Awesome, so good. Yeah, but you're so right. When some things have to happen, they just fall in place, right?
Yeah, they do magically, yeah.
Yeah. So, but then even let me just continue with that, Anushri, since you're talking about, how the whole process happened. Did you have any doubts, any fears during the adoption process before? How did you work through them with your husband, your family, your immediate family? How did you work through all of them?
Yeah, of course. I mean, in fact, I remember, I came back after reserving Meher and we resumed work.
Hmm.
And I made calls to a few of my people who I knew, who've done this. And I called Smriti also. And I told her, honestly, मुझे कुछ ऐसे magical लग नहीं रहा है. I am really nervous. Because I knew, while my husband said absolutely okay, मुझे ही सारा गधा मजदूरी करना पड़ेगा in terms of taking her to physiotherapy, all of that. So, and I wasn't prepared for that, right? I mean, of course, I knew, and we fell in love with my daughter. But all the hard work that goes into it, I knew that we have to sign up for it 100%. And kahin to back of the head, because of the fact that we wanted normal category and we were coming to terms with that, मेरे दिमाग में फिर भी वो चल रहा था कि लोग क्या कहेंगे. So I honestly put that out to Smriti also, saying लोग क्या कहेंगे, what will I do, if I take her down, she's not going to be walking, she's not going to be fast. So in fact, Smriti told me, and that's registered in my head, that सब बच्चों के साथ something or the other is always there. Even if it's a normal category, you'll have something, either mental or physical or something. At least in my case, I know what it is, and I know the worst case. So it's better to accept that and work with that and just shut everyone out. So of course, we had loose comments that were made when we got her home, but I decided what battles I want to fight. So I did not fight them with anyone else. And I think Meher has turned out to be my greatest fighter. I don't have to say anything. She's owned up everything and how. So I'm really happy where things stand now. And thank God for people like Smriti, Meera, Narthana, and everyone who really cheered me up at the time when I was nervous. So yeah, reach out to the right people. Take your time, connect with people. It's okay to have doubts. I'd always say कि वो magical videos जो होते हैं adoption का, your bells ring होते, ऐसा होता नहीं है. You have to be realistic about things. Come back home. It's really okay to have fears. It's absolutely normal.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Anushri. So, just like Anushri, Smriti, you have helped a lot of parents. You've spoken to them when they've had their fears and all that. So, what are some of the most common fears you've seen, and how did you also personally navigate it also? But tell us a little bit about that.
I think Anushri touched on that. I think probably the biggest fear is what if it turns out worse than I imagined, right? Like what if it reaches a point where I can't handle it? And I think the the advice there is right the same, whether it's me, whether it's Anushri, whether it's anybody, is like you think about the worst case scenario, if you're okay with that, you go ahead with it. And that's not going to happen, but it tells you that you're ready for it. So excuse me, I'm just turning my video off for a second because I got a little emotional while Anushri was talking.
Okay. Okay, take your time, Smriti. We can come back to you, Smriti, if you need a minute.
No, I can talk. I can talk. So I would say that's one common thing. Second is like, people have this fear. Another fear is like, will my life be disrupted? And will it be disrupted in ways that I didn't want it to, right? And to me, I mean, at some basic level, when you have a child, whether it's bio child or adopted, or whether the child is in normal health or is in special needs, your life will get disrupted. I don't know like any parenting scenario where life isn't disrupted. So basically, you just kind of talk through these fears and you realize things are gonna change, and that at the end of the day, it like kind of works out great. And like it, and special needs also, there's this fearful thing about what Anishu mentioned, right? What people would say.
Yeah.
So, but again, you just kind of you step out of it, you step out of that mode, you really get into it's about me and the kid, it's not about anybody else. So I think these are just common fears, and slowly you just have to work through them.
Yeah, thanks for that, Smriti. Yes, yeah. Let's ask Kavita then. So, Kavita, just in your head, what you remember of the first few weeks or the first few months with your daughter, how was the transition like? How did you handle those initial days?
See, family-wise, it was very emotional, happy, but physically it was tiring because I had no idea that there was a long list. As we welcomed Veda, I got connected with the DSFI, the Down Syndrome Federation, and then there was, a list of tests, visiting medical professionals, I mean, heart specialist, ear specialist, and then all that eco and beta test. And I think I was drained for 6 months. I was just drained with so many congratulations and feeling alone because my family was really upset. So it was only me and my husband. Like he's going to office, then he will come, he will hold Veda, then I will take a shower or whatever, then I will eat. Okay, so there was no one personally for me except my friends, but medically it was much more challenging holding Veda whole day, while while doctors are telling me, okay, this is clear, we gave clear chit to her heart and ear test, everything is fine. We knew that she will have some medical issues, but then eye specialist and everything, We came to know so many issues, her medical issues, after bringing her home, that she has severe eye issues. So yeah, it was draining. Plus, emotionally with Veda, it was tough to bond. I mean, with my husband, she was like a daughter from day one. With me, it took her a lot of time. And it was also that, I think, Pratima, I was very young. I
Mhm.
thought that love is enough. I thought that in adoption, love is enough. I love that child. That child loves me. What more, you know? But as I grew with her, I understood that love is not enough when you bring a child home. You know, the child has been through trauma, sleepless nights, malnutrition, so many things, plus a disability. So, and then there were people, professionals, telling me, you have to do this, you have to work on her weight, on her height, she's underweight, she's under height. And I thought there were so many noises. So I decided, you know what, I don't want to follow anyone. Okay, I'm going to follow my child, because there was no one in my community raising a child with Down syndrome who was also adopted. Right.
Mm.
So I had a very different case. So Down syndrome people were telling me something, adoptive parents were telling me something, but I had to find that middle ground. Like, what is going to work for my child? So I joined that group on Facebook. I learned about adoption, the trauma, the everything, sensory issues related to it. I read a lot. And then I started bonding with my child. Earlier, I was expecting, like, I love you. What else? You know, you should think that I'm your mom, but that was not enough for her. So we bonded through therapies, play. I chose, it was my decision not to send her to occupational therapy or speech therapy. I thought she missed already the early intervention time. The
Mm.
first 3 years for early intervention, she missed a whole chunk of time. And I'm like, it's okay. Maybe for next 3 years, I'm going to give her that environment, what she needed initially for 2 years. And I worked on that till she turned 5. We didn't start school. We were just playing, and I was following my child. And that helped me to bond. Yeah, because she also has speech issues. So it
Mm.
was only me who can understand, what she's saying. So I think that was the moment I decided, okay, I'm her mother. Only I know what she's saying. Earlier, people used to tell me, like, it's very easy to adopt. Like, you have got a pala palaya bacha, and she's so kind to you because kids with DS are so happy. But then I thought, okay, am I not working hard enough? I mean,
Mm.
how can I tell that she loves me? But then something happened, that someone was talking to her, and she turned to me and she said something, and I'm like, no, she's not asking for that, she's saying something else. And that day I decide that was the click. Okay, I'm her mother, I understand her. So bonding took a lot for me and Veda,
Yeah,
but we
yeah.
worked through it. Yeah, it was tough time.
But I'm also so glad that your own learning you've been able to capture in learning with Veda. When did you
Yes.
decide to start learning with Veda? Was it around the same time or later? But that's really
Mm,
so good that you know what you went through, you've been at least able to share with others so that they're a little bit better prepared or
true,
know more.
true. So what happened when Veda came home? I was sharing her pictures on my personal profile, but then there were so many parents who contacted me. Ki, ma'am, we are glad that you are sharing about it. How about you make a new profile for her where we can see how she's doing? And I started doing it. Initially, it was just a journal, everyday thing, like Veda doing clapping, because with Veda and with kids with Down syndrome or any special need child, you cherish those moments. You don't wait for them walking, you wait for them standing, expanding their toes, balancing, using those muscles, because Veda also has hypotonia, which is low muscle tone. So I was sharing the things no one was talking about initially. What is low muscle tone? Like, how hard it is for Veda to even sit, even focus, even clap, that coordination, that bilateral coordination. So people came, they followed, they enjoyed, ki, okay, someone is talking about. Plus, Pratima, I wanted people to see that Down syndrome is not scary, and also adoption is not what it has been shown in movies. Like,
Mm.
it's not like that, you know there is a different bond. It's not a movie thing that you don't love the child, you just wanted to be a mom, you brought a child. So people were amazed to see an adoptive child with special need having a page, doing progress. And I think I tried to be raw. I was sharing my emotions and the hard days as well. And that time Insta was a different thing. You were able to share your hard days, and I think that is the reason people came and joined me. Okay, that someone is there showing that it's not scary, you can do this.
I'm so glad. I mean, you did not try to sanitize anything. It was what it was, right? And
Yeah. And the reason also, because maybe I was also going through it, people were treating me very differently. As I was an adoptive parent, I was getting a stigma or label about having a child, and asking those questions, what we do, the religion, the caste, and everything. So I was putting it out. Like, I was noticing what people think about adoption, then I was writing about it, that this is what people think and this is not the reality, this is the myth, this is the reality, the adoption jokes, the stigma. So I think it happened because I was living that. It was not coming from the place of gyan or something. I was living that experience.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Kavita. So, let me ask similar questions then, Smriti, to you. Just like Kavita spoke about initial attachment, initial trust. What about in your case? How did you make, like, how did it happen for you when the children started feeling safe with you? Did you have to manufacture it somehow or happen organically? Mm.
So to make sure I understand the question better, Pratima, so you're asking how did like the initial trust and bonding happen, or
Right. Yeah, so what helped daughters, feel safe and loved after coming home, right? An initial attachment, how it happened.
got it, got it. So I would say initially for both the adoptions, my focus wasn't on attachment, right? Like or bonding. Like my focus wasn't on, how much does the child see me as a mother yet? Is the child this and that? My focus was purely on, am I making the child feel safe?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that was the very much the initial focus. Like I wanted them to know, for each adoption, I wanted my daughters to know that they're safe, they're in a safe environment, they're around people who will take care of them, that I'm there for them. So I think that was the initial focus. And you do that by taking care of the kid, right? You do that by having patience, by taking care of the child, by meeting their needs. And then, at least in my case, I felt the bonding part was more organic.
Mm-hmm.
Once they were settled, once they saw that they were safe, they could trust us that, we truly were acting like their parents. That's when, they settled, and, then you could see like the bonding and the trust happen. And it's quite obvious, right? Like with my younger one, she was much younger. She was about 8 months old, right? With her, you could tell the difference by when the child starts preferring you over other people. So
Mm-hmm.
initially, the kids will go to anybody. But the moment they start preferring you over other people, right? Like that trust has been established. With my older one, because she was speaking, she was close to 4 years old, it was much easier for her to express that. It was much easier to just for her to say, no, I want to be with you. I don't want to be with anybody else, right? So a lot of it is just organically like happens. But I think the idea is that at least for me, the focus wasn't are they attached to me yet, right? Like the focus was more of, are they secure? Do they feel secure? Do they feel comfortable? Are they being like a natural kid, right? And not a fearful kid, not an anxious kid. Are they just being like a natural happy kid? And that's for us, like that was the path to bonding.
Right. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Anushi, even for you, similar question then. How was your experience, initial days? She was already 1.5 years old when you got my hair. How was it, the initial days? And when did you start feeling that, yeah, now she trusts you?
Yeah, so no, for us also, I think the way Smriti mentioned, and a lot of it, what Kavita also mentioned, right? If you were to look at it from the reverse, obviously me and my husband fell in love with her in the second or the third day itself. She was all ours. We got extra protective, all of that. And then, of course, like Kavita said, right, because in your head you've already have assumptions that when their milestones will come, when they come earlier or when they actually hit you, there's so much celebration. Like I still know the date when she first walked. I still know the date, like you said, she first clapped, and I still know the date when she played peekaboo, all of that, because I have waited for so long for that. So of course we immediately fell in love with her grit, her determination, all of that. For her, like Smriti mentioned, because they've been in institutional care for a while, and they are held by everyone, right? It's not one a nanny or somebody who looks at them, so they are okay and very happily go to everyone. So after, and like Smriti mentioned, initially I wanted to just focus on, getting her to therapy, all of that. This attachment was not at my site. But when I got comfortable with the fact that she's already there, then I started, realizing that even I want to feel attached, because she was going to everyone. Again, sorry, Smriti, I may make you cry, but I remember calling Smriti and a few of my friends saying, she's not getting so attached to me, and she likes her Aji more, and she likes my mom more. Beach mein to I was getting insecure of my nanny also. Okay, she likes my nanny more. What do I do? So people told me that just show up. That's it. That's just one line. Just show up. Like every time she needs somebody, just show up. So thanks to my work, I got the right amount of maternity leave. I could take flexi hours. So I just decided I'm going to show up every time. And honestly, I've been a mama's kid, so I needed mom till date. I'm my mama's kid, so I wanted that to come immediately. वो होता नहीं है. But cut to now, she's 3.5 years old. She's obviously just a mama's kid. She will only look for me, search for me, and I am her go-to person for everything. So I'm happy where we are now. But like everyone said, it does not instantly happen. You have to show up. I mean, I discussed this even with biological mothers. Even they say that, at 8 months, 9 months, 1 year, 2 year, and kids know kisse kya lena hai na. So they will also play you to realize that you're not their favorite person or whatever. So don't take it too personally. Just show up, and eventually they'll know, who's their person. So yeah, so that, really, that's our journey also into the fact that finally she's attached to us and she's ours. And now it really doesn't matter, if someone, there are people after so much of time that she spent with us, they still come and ask us, "Sab accept ho gaya hai? Has she accepted you?" I said, "Arey, ab to bahut time ho gaya hai. Now she's all ours, and there's no doubt about that." So yeah.
Great. But that is so true that it's not just the children. And when they come, we also change in so many ways, right? We also discover so many things about ourselves which we never knew.
No,
And yeah,
absolutely, of course.
yeah, and I'm so glad you could reach out to people and speak to them, and you got some advice that you could put into use. But yeah, so say for example, Kavita, let's talk about learning then. So you've been able to turn your learning almost into an advocacy, right?
Hmm.
What has been your biggest learning as a parent, or whether it's been patience or a different perspective? What has it taught you, this whole thing?
The patience, though I'm still not there. But yeah, I try to. But something magical, spiritual happened. I never say Veda is my daughter. I feel like she was given to me to make me learn something. So I tell people, I think she's a gift because I see world from her eyes now. I was a very different person pre 2017. Post 2017, I think I became a different person. Um, I learned a lot about her condition. More than medically, I learned it in a holistic way, that how a body works, how body anatomy works, right? So that made me a different person, a more appreciative person. I see my daughter appreciating sunset and sunrise every day. She has that what we say thera, like appreciating small things. So that made me a better person, right? She actually opened so many gates inside me of emotion and those triggers. Kehte hain, when you become a mother, your child will trigger you to make you learn what you are lacking. I was lacking a lot. So that's how my journey started with learning with Veda, because she is not here to learn, I'm here to learn. So initially I thought, okay, I have to make her learn to speak, to walk, to eat or everything, but actually she was making me learn. Then I decided, like, I never expected acceptance from anyone. I'm like, I see her and I treat her the way I want it from the world. So naturally, people around her are respectful to her. They know what she's saying because I see her like that. So things have been challenging initially, but she has given me a lot of perspective that a child, a person has a worth, even if they are achieving or not achieving anything. For me, Veda is worthy from the day one. She doesn't need to walk, or she doesn't need to achieve, read or write to make it happen. Ki, okay mama, I am worthy, right? So these are the learnings I started sharing, which I could see in my child in my daily routine. So that's why I named it Learning with Veda, because she made me realize so many things, and I'm learning with her. I'm learning maths with her. I'm learning science with her again. I'm learning to listen to people. I'm learning to listen to my body. I'm learning that nothing is normal. Sabka apna normal hai, wo hai na? Because for Veda, every day is like she has to work on her muscle strength, her finger strength, fine motor, gross motor from past 8 years, right? If someone outside my home is going to see her, they will think, oh my God, that poor child is struggling. But that struggle is her normal. For her, she is working out. She is not struggling, right? She made me realize that she is not struggling. This is her normal. So Veda is my normal. So if I see a child having a meltdown outside, in a shopping mall or everywhere, I'm not going to judge that child or that parent. I'm going to understand that's that child's normal. That child learns like that. That child express like that. So that was my biggest learning from my parenting, and I'm still learning that, especially that patience part, because I'm a very loud parent, and someday she reminds me, Mama, please tone down. So yeah, so I'm still learning. Yes.
Yeah, I think kids teach us so many things. You just need to be open, that's it, and then
Exactly.
from them.
And especially when your child is uh, lacks, the child has delays, growth delays. That's the very beautiful way to see. Some people panic. I understand why, because there is so much competition, but that child is also giving you that space. Ki, please be here, please give me my own pace. I will learn, I will grow at my own pace. That I'm really blessed that I learned it initially, and it helped other parents as well. Or I might be struggling today.
Great. So, Anushri, how about you? What did you learn about yourself as a person, as a parent? What has Meher taught you?
Yeah, no, so Kavita put it so well. What else, can I add? She just touched so many beautiful things. But honestly, like she said, and if you go on FOAG's page, right, they have this line that says that thou don't look like me. Thou, I think, don't have a personality, but I see God and His divineness in you, and that's all that really matters. So it's completely changed me as a person, and I'm yet discovering many facets of me, good and bad. Of course, a lot of what can you say, empathy, compassion, because at the initial time, a lot of people come to you with pity, comparison, all of that. You know exactly what not to do with someone who's going through the same thing. So, mostly, normally any parent, would want only empathy, not pity of the situation that they go through. Um, it's taught me what to say. If you can't say anything, please don't say anything at all. Just be there for that person, listen to their story, and get inspired and move on if you cannot say anything nice. So those are things that, of course, Meher taught me, and her sheer grit, right? I mean, these children who go through special need, you just give them the right environment and they will flourish. And how? So I've seen this with so many parents, who've adopted kids with low birth weight, preterm, cerebral palsy, and Veda herself, right? I mean, look at the journey that they've had. They just need that space. If those kids have it in them to fight so much and still love life the way they do, I think there's hardly any need for us to complain about anything. So I think all my complaints have been probably put to rest, because there's just so much to cherish with Meher. I think, like Kavita said, I think pre 2030, 23, I was very different. And after, obviously, Meher has come in, my acceptance to things, I think the whole idea that, I need a family, mujhe bachcha chahiye, has completely changed, because everything for me, the fact that I found you guys, the fact that, everything has to be child centric, we are giving the child home, that entirely changes your perspective on a lot of things, that changes your acceptance to a lot of things. Rather than you wanting a family and the child fulfilling your need, you're actually looking at giving the child the right environment, and everything, around the world, and your perspective, your resources come from that feeling. So yeah, really, that's what I can add to what Kavita said.
All of us would agree. I think it teaches us so much gratitude, right? Just to be around
Absolutely.
children. Wonderful. This is really a much larger question for you then. Given your experience, across the ecosystem, healthcare, education, just a system supporting parents with special needs. What are the changes you would like to see, at least in India? If you can start with that.
Oh, interesting. What changes I would like to see? I would say from a system level, right? I think as parents we can navigate it, right? Like, is there? I think there are doctors. I think there are, physiotherapists. There are good pediatricians, right? They can figure it out. Like when my daughter came home, I think we visited 3 or 4 doctors. We visited a bunch of, physiotherapists till we like landed on the right, pediatrician, orthopedic neurologist, excuse me, pediatric neurologist, and a pediatric physiotherapist, right? Like we were able to figure out that combination of doctors and providers. So that's thankfully that level of medical care is available in India. It may vary, city by city, big cities versus small cities. But in system wise, you can kind of figure it out. I think what I would say, probably, and this goes, I think, probably beyond adoption. I think this goes with for any parent with special need, is I have seen like in terms of community or extended family support, that does not exist. Right. So if I would like to see any change, it wouldn't necessarily be in the medical space. And Anushri and Kavita, you may have different views on this because like I said, as parents, we can figure that out. I think it's more in the wider family support, that I would say maybe goes missing a little bit in India.
Absolutely.
So that I would
Completely
like
agree with
to
you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's so true. And
I
uh,
think for me, if I can add, I did not tell my mom-in-law till about her second birthday
mm,
about her special needs. She completely fell in love with her the day we got her. But when she got to know about it, there was more acceptance because love preceded that. The only person in that generation I could probably tell was my mother. And she
mm,
surprised me. She obviously wholeheartedly accepted it. She said, "तुम्हें ही ये मिलनी थी क्योंकि तुमने मुझे परेशान किया. You walked at 2 years. She had to come to you." I mean, for her age to say that, I was amazingly surprised. But it took me time to tell people in the extended family that, and now I'm here, right? So everybody knows that she's come from special need. But it took me time to sort of open up because I knew the kind of reactions people would get. If I can add, maybe in terms of systems, our SARS, right? I
mm,
hope, the SARS learn to tell parents initially, up special need or immediate placement dekha kijiye, because somehow not all of us get trained, and some agencies also have reservation of parents adopting through special need or immediate placement. So if that can change, it can, at least from the initial time itself, given that it's a 3-year wait period, you'll at least start getting accustomed to seeing these MERs and CSRs of children with special needs. Of course, that's one thing I could think of from a system perspective, having gone through it recently. Yeah.
So actually encourage people to go through the CSR and MERs of the special needs children also. I think, yeah, even at our level within WIC, during any counseling opportunity that we get, we've always encouraged. I think that must be one of the things that you also got, Anushri, where you were waiting for a, normal healthy child, but you were encouraged to look at the other list also. But you're right. If as a system there could be triggers, asking people to look at the others list also, things could be different. Um, uh, I want to keep some time for audience questions also. So just one last, very quick for all of you. Smriti, any one thing if you wanted to tell somebody who's considering a special needs adoption, a PAP who's considering, what would that be?
I would say there is a huge range of kids who come into the special needs category, right? And different people have the capacity to handle different types of needs. So don't look at it and say, oh, it's special need. This is not something I touch. I think a lot of people, it's a loss. I think it's a loss for a lot of parents to have to, wait so long or howsoever it is to like just kind of write off the special need list. I think people should take a look at it. And so yeah, there's like there's variety, and Anushri spoke very beautifully towards it earlier, right? Like she started with the normal category, moved into like the special needs, went through the list. So I would just encourage people to take the time and do it, because I hear from people who say something like, my aunt's somebody had a child who had this special need and their life was so difficult and I can't do this. And I'm like, do you think there is only one special need in the world? Right? First of all, don't judge your aunts, whatever. They may actually be very happy with their life, right? You from the outside are looking at it and be like, oh my God, their kid had a special need, but maybe they're just absolutely, happy and content and living an okay life. So, A, don't judge their life. Second, right? Special need is a very, very wide category. So it's important to at least learn about it, know about it, and at least look at it.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for that, Smriti. Kavita, to you also. People who are at the fence, is it really possible ever to be ready for a special needs adoption?
No, never, never, never. This is something you have to experience. You just can't plan. Also, I have noticed that people who are going for special need adoption, they belong to a different league. Okay,
Mm.
you can't make someone believe that you have to adopt a child with special need, your life will be perfect. Some people are born with it, some people are aware. Okay, some people learn through their journey. So first of all, a person who already has this notion like my life will be very draining or exhausting, or what if I won't be able to love that child as I love my typical child. So that you just can't convince that person. So you first of all, you have to find the people who are interested in special need, because I know so many people who literally went through and adopted a child who is blind or deaf, and they don't think twice, right? And if still you have decided to adopt a child with special need and you feel, I'm still worried, then that's a good thing. Being worried is a good thing. It means you will be a good parent. You want to know so many loopholes, what to expect, what not to expect, how to be prepared. So worrying is also good. And last, I would say what my husband told me, he always say that because he was that person, that if you have applied for a child, first meet the child. Sometimes it clicks. Even child having severe disability or mild disability, you click with the child. You have to see the child first, not the diagnosis. What we did with Veda, we see the child, then the diagnosis. And I still don't see the diagnosis even after 8 years, because I see my child. So if you have that fear, try to meet the child and still you feel, you know, it's not clicking, then have the second thought. But sometimes you see the child. Most of the time, you feel like this is my child. I don't care. In my case, I didn't even ask for the reports. I didn't even say that I want to go for the test, because Veda was my child from day one. I'm like, I am responsible now. I will take her. I will do all the pediatric test, neurosurgeon and everyone. I'm going to meet them. So see the child, not the diagnosis. And find your community. Meet people who have adopted kids with the specific disability. And even if they are biological, meet only the parents who have that specific disabled child. Don't hear the story from XYZ people who tell you, no, 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 it's very scary, don't go for it. So follow the right people and see the child, I would say.
Yeah, so you're so right. I mean, however ready you feel you are with, you're reading articles or looking at YouTube videos, I think the
Ex-
moment of truth is when you are actually meeting the child and then
True, true.
and so true, na? Smriti also said that people always have some story or the other of what they've heard somebody's gone through, and it's a lot of urban legends we have, especially in the adoption ecosystem. There are so many stories that float, and I think, yeah, we have to look beyond that sometimes. So, Anushri, anything from your side before I ask audience
Yeah,
to ask?
just last two comments. One is, while we've all spoken about asking parents to look at special need, sometimes special need children, if they're gotten home, they're pushed, they become normal children or whatever, the normal category children in certain cases because their special needs have not been that severe. But if they remain in institutional care, there is absolutely no future for them, because the kind of care that you can give at home can just not match what an institutional care can give, right? So keep that in mind. Having said that, adoption ho ya special need adoption ho, please don't do it out of charity, because I'm getting a special need home. Superb, I'm giving her home. If you're not going to, by the way, somebody sitting in US, UK with so much facility will probably adopt the child. So we had a child with Down syndrome in Meher's agency who got adopted in US by a couple. Somehow I got linked to them, and I know how that child is doing. So if you can't do it 100% and you think you're doing a charity, don't do it. कोई ना कोई वो बच्चे का भला कर ही लेगा. So please don't come into adoption or special need 100% to do charity, of course. And like I said, if please start seeing special need category. If you're still there waiting for a long time, log in करिए, download your MER CSR. आपके seniority को कुछ नहीं होगा. You might find a child, like Kavita is saying, that wholeheartedly you are able to accept that one special need or disability, and you and your family will be wholeheartedly okay to even face the worst case with that child. So that's where I am. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Anushru. That's so nice to end at that note. Okay, let's look at the questions. I think Smriti and Meera have been busy answering some of them, so we might have answered quite a few already. But should I start with the first one? When we get all the medical records of the child, can we request some more tests to be done in case if they're not done? And they are important to understand the medical condition of the child. Smriti, do you want to take this?
Sure. So first of all, a few things. One is you can request extra tests, but the SAR may not allow it. What you have to realize is that many tests can be painful, disruptive, or difficult for the SAR to get done, and they may be, difficult for the child. And so a SAR may decide at some point, SAR may decide that whatever information they have provided is sufficient. So that's one thing we can ask, but you may or may not get them. Second, please keep in mind that a lot of these tests are not conclusive. So, there are so many things you cannot test for. And especially, when children are younger and even at different stages, many times the way these special needs evolve, testing won't tell you anything. Testing won't tell you how much the child would improve, which the child will improve once the child is in your care, right? Like you're not measuring the improvement that comes by just having a family. So I would say the tests wouldn't tell you any of that. So I wouldn't put too much premium on that. If there is something very specific you want to know, you can definitely ask. Second, with the MER, like medical examination report, people expect that it will be very well done, right? And hopefully, in a lot of cases, it is. But generally speaking, it may not be, right? So again, to basically expect the SAR that they'll generate an excellent medical report for you when they haven't done it so far is not happening. So at that point, again, you go with the information you have and you believe that that's the information you can handle and work with. I think that will give you a little bit more peace of mind rather than trying to get more and more information. Again, by all means, ask, but there's no guarantee that you will get it.
Yeah, I
I
think
think it's mostly a leap of faith, right? Whichever category. Finally, it's just a
Right.
leap of faith with whatever you get. Yeah.
Yeah, like I've heard from people who said that a child's MER said hearing loss, right? And after adoption, they realized it was just back-to-back infections that the SAR couldn't deal with, right? This is not every case, but this is a case, right? So how things turn out, you can't tell. Sometimes somebody may adopt based on an MER, and maybe the child's need is higher. Sometimes it's lower, but you kind of have to kind of go in with the decision, as Kavita said, that this is something you're going to do, and whatever comes your way, you'll handle it because none of this is predictable. And I also want to say none of this is predictable even in the normal category adoption. So a lot of
Yes.
people, adopt kids from the normal category thinking, oh, wow, I'm avoiding special needs. This kid is gonna come home, chubby and perfect and healthy and so on and so forth. But it doesn't work that way. The child has been institutionalized. There are challenges. And they may show up in other ways. So I think even going into normal category saying, you know, oh, I'm all set, I won't have to do any sort of extra challenges or work, it doesn't necessarily pan out that way. Parenting in general is not an easy thing, no matter which child you are parenting.
Yes, I would like to add here that even after, having severe infections and everything, malnutrition, Veda's MER was perfect. Perfect. Only one test that she has Down syndrome, what kind of Down syndrome, and no eye test, and no initial test like hearing test, brain test, or your basic, what we say, that vaccination, nothing. So you have to take that leap of faith that this is your child and now it's your responsibility.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a long conversation happened with Shreya Gupta. Shreya, if you have further questions, you can always unmute yourself and ask, because I see a lot of responses that you've already got to your questions around
Yes.
the
Hi, Pratima. Thank you so much. Actually, I want because I'm new to this and I am actually from Canada. So the thing is, actually, the agencies are not friendly here, frankly speaking. They want us to go with the domestic adoption, which we don't want because we want someone from Hindu, right, from India. Now, the waiting time, what they said is 5 years, which is too much actually. So I just thought of getting into the special immediate placement thing. So now my question is, because my agency is gonna register, I'm seeing it, I can't register myself. My agency is gonna register in Kara on my behalf. And I think I will not have access to this special pool actually. So is there any other way, any other website where I can have access to this thing and I can tell my agency that can we inquire about this child and all? Is there any, yeah, or else I can get in touch with you guys? What is the other way you get support, please?
you can always get in touch with us, and we'll probably have the same answer that there is no other portal. I think whoever
Mm-hmm.
registers, whether you or somebody on your behalf, your agency, will have access to the special needs category. Am I right, Smriti? Anything other than this, I think? Yeah.
You're right, Pratima. So, Shreya, the way international adoptions work is that your AFA, your
Mm-hmm.
adoption agency in Canada, they will get
Mm-hmm.
access to these lists. So there was a time a few
Right.
years ago when Cara did provide direct access to lists to parents, even if you were overseas. But for whatever reason, they stopped that. So you have to go through your agency. So I'm sorry that your agency is not cooperative, but at the end
Yeah.
of the day, your agency is the one who would have to look at these lists and then help you match with a child.
Gotcha. Okay. There is no page, Insta page or something where the things gets updated or
No, no, I know what you mean. I have seen that in US, right? Like
mm-hmm.
the children who are available for adoption here, they're generally available on other portals also. Like the
Mm-hmm.
information tends to be pretty public. India doesn't work that way. India is like very, very particular
Gotcha.
about the privacy of these children. So they'll only give
Yep,
access
gotcha.
to, yeah, either the parents or the agencies, depending whether it's a domestic or an international adoption.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you. Thank you for answering my question.
Yeah, so are there twins in special and open? Yes, both. I think both categories you'll have twins. I think we have a question from Gina around that. I think you've already answered on the tests. Mm. How about this question? I like this question a lot. Santosh has asked, thank you for this, Santosh. How do you help your child integrate with other kids in your locality, or how do you promote or encourage acceptance among them? Any advice there or any experience there? Kavita,
Mm.
I can start.
I have very different idea of acceptance. I don't give anyone the key to acceptance.
Well,
That no one is that privileged to accept my child. I don't believe in that word. Either you love my child or either you don't love my child. Also, kids don't need to be, kids don't work like that. They make friends very easily. They don't have our brain set notions, pre-notions, and judgments. And if you accept your child, people will accept your child. Inclusion starts from home. If you have that a notion like my child lacks in something, of course that fear will be seen by others. Okay, if you have if you love your child fully unconditionally, I don't think so people have courage to disrespect that child or say something bad about it in front of you. At least they are definitely going to learn something from you. They are not going to badmouth you. So you don't have to work for acceptance. Acceptance is such a bad word for kids, मुझे ऐसा लगता है, because who are people to accept our kids or me? You know, you have to accept your kid, you have to accept yourself, and people will accept that.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's the children that we need to, I mean, it's our child we need to give that confidence.
Exactly. Don't look for validation or acceptance.
I think it's more whether we are able to accept, because
Yeah.
like Kavita
Yes.
said, whether normal category or special need, one child will be a bully, one will be antisocial, someone will have something, they will exclude you for some other reasons, you will become their best friend for some other reason. I'm talking children dynamics, when you see them play. So
Absolutely.
whoever comes, it wouldn't matter whether that person looks different, walks different. For them, they easily accept or reject you basis whether you shared a toy or not. उनके लिए बहुत सिंपल है. ये हमारे दिमाग का है कि वी नीड एक्सेप्टेंस, वी नीड टू बी, our child needs to look or walk and talk a certain way. Children won't really care, at least up until certain age. After that, of course, it's up to the parent how you build your child's sense of self and confidence, really. Yeah.
And also most of the time parents have that fear that my child lacks something.
वही.
पता नहीं कोई क्या सोचेगा, ये अभी तक चलता नहीं है, तुम दोस्त क्यों नहीं बना रहे हो, go meet kids. Maybe the child is shy. Even a typical
Yeah.
neurotypical child can be shy, you know. So it's our fear जो हम बच्चों पे put करते हैं as a pressure, and then we say, oh, they are not accepted. So it's
Yeah.
parents have to deal
More
with
the
that fear
parents issue.
first.
Yeah. वो
Yeah.
आप ही ढूंढ,
It
आप ही
is.
सोचो,
It is more
बच्चा का
on
problem.
parents. You're right. Absolutely. See, with Prathama, you had earlier asked a question, I think, which you said, what did you learn from the adoption, right? And I would say the biggest thing you learn from, I think, any adoption, perhaps special need adoption, is independence. I think independence of thought, independence of action, independence of living, right? Like you don't benchmark the milestones of your kids with other kids. You don't benchmark like educational achievements. You don't benchmark anything. You live in your independence. And I think that's what needs to get to the kid as well. Like be independent, play, go to a park and play, right? Somebody plays with you, great. Somebody doesn't play with you, whatever, move on. Right? So it's I think it's one of those things where we just gonna have to teach them to be themselves and like have fun on their own terms. Baki child politics, as Anushri said, that's just a lifelong thing.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
always happen.
I
And
do
your
have a
child will be
question.
your biggest evangelist. Sorry, because for me, Meher was, I fenced for a while, came on special need, and of course, she's thriving the way a normal kid would thrive. So the same person who made loose comments on her is her biggest cheerleader now. So your child will anyway answer everything that has to be in the right way. So it shouldn't really matter to you. Yeah.
I think,
Um,
Jeevika, you want to ask something? Go ahead.
Yeah. So I just want to say you guys are amazing and people really the world needs more people like you, honestly. Um, I wanted to ask, so I am from Canada too, and I did inquire. So they said in the open category, as Shreya said, it takes almost 3 to 4 years, like basically 3 to 4 or 5 years. And in my province or my state, we have an option so we do have to go through an agency like our provincial agency. But then if we don't want all the paperwork to be done by other agency, then we can do it ourselves. So we don't so basically we have to go through our provincial agency, and then we can pick a second agency to deal with India if we want. Otherwise we can do all that work on our own. So I have decided to do all that work on our own because I thought, okay, I can communicate with people in India because I know the languages and I am from India. So my question is, first, that can we opt for both special and open category, or do we have to pick one, first of all? Second thing, so far, whatever I have understood is that a special category, there is a shorter wait period as compared to the open category. So my question is, I know this roughly that they were telling us that Khara will be sending them the list of people, whichever we select, open or special or both, and they will communicate it with us. But somewhere I heard from one parent that we might have an access to that open list. So can you please answer both these questions for me?
So Jigna, these are both process questions, and I'm not sure whether we are experts in sort of the process via Canada. Like for example, when a domestic adoption is done in India, you can basically say select normal category, but you can still look at the special need list. So I believe both are open to you. From I'm not sure whether with how it works in Canada, but I do know another person in Canada who is in the process of adopting from India. So I'm gonna just drop my email ID in the chat box. And why don't you, both of you, both Shreya and Jigna, please just email me, and I'll try to connect you to this person. She's also a volunteer for us. Um, and perhaps she can help you better with some of these questions because hopefully she has gone through this.
Okay, no, that will be great. I've already connected with a couple of parents who have adopted in Canada, and I've talked with them, and they have adopted from India. But it would be wonderful to even meet more people and just to hear their experiences, and if they can guide us, that would be great.
Right, right. From what I understand in US, when the home study is done, that's when the agency will take that information, whether you want a kid from normal category, are you open to special needs? And I think people here do have to choose, right? Like they can't keep all options open. I think the US home study does ask you to be very specific about, okay, if you're doing special needs with special needs and so on. Again, I don't know about the Canadian process as such, but yeah, I'll connect you and hopefully you'll get some answers.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you so much. So if there are no further questions, I'm happy to take any last thoughts that all three of you have. It's been an absolute pleasure listening to all three of you. I feel a few years younger already. It's so great.
Pratima, there's just one more question, I
Yes,
think.
sure,
There's one
sure.
more question. I think what efforts should be made to stabilize the mental state of the special needs child is a question which has been asked by Sanjay.
Mhm.
Can I start with that one?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, please.
Right.
So, Sanjay, I'm assuming you just sort of mean how, when a child comes home, how to kind of mentally settle them. I would say this is a general adoption question, right? Like it applies to all kids, special need or not. And I think kids, when they do come home, it is something very new for them, right? Like their shelter may have been good, it may have been bad, but that's all they knew. And suddenly they have been transported to this new family. So I think the best you can do is just, again, make them feel safe, be around them all the time, meet their needs, right? Don't get impatient, don't get angry, right? Like have all that reserve that you have of those, all the good things of in your body, just kind of, use it at that time point. But again, I would just say it's about from your end, the best thing you can do is make the child feel safe and wanted, and that they can, that you are there to provide for everything they need in that moment. And I think that's what those initial weeks are for.
Great. Thank you so much, Smriti. Thanks for that. Right then. Thank you so much, everyone. Smriti, Kavita, Anushri, absolute pleasure. It's so nice to speak to all three of you. I'm happy to take any last thoughts, anything that you have in mind that you want to tell now, and then we'll close.
I just want to just to share a realistic picture, and it may be different for every different special need. Is I know people think a lot about special need as that will become like their main thing in life. It doesn't, right? Like your main thing still remains how do you wake up the kids in the morning, right? Without yelling at them. What do you have to pack for lunch? How do you make them do their homework? Like, so it's just the realities and the everyday things of the life actually stay the same. Special need is, just one another thing that maybe you handle, and depending on the special need, it may or may not be that frequent. So so I know, Kavita, you talked about your journey, and for you, it's a lot more involved. You're homeschooling Veda, and so there's a lot more involvement on your part. There's involvement in every parent's part, but in terms of Like for somebody else, it may just be like a few hospital visits per
Yeah.
year. For some, it may be just getting a physiotherapist to come at home. For others, it may be getting some software, hardware tools that their child needs. So it looks different for everybody, but it doesn't take over your life. Like I said, of the 10 things you have to do in life, it's probably the 10th thing.
Yeah, and
For,
whenever
for me,
this is,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, you continue, Anushri.
No, go ahead, Kavita.
Like what Smriti said, now while you are doing this, the doctor visits and physiotherapy therapist coming or speech therapist, people telling you, okay, you should try this diet, all this. You don't even I used to think, okay, I have to raise her like a child with Down syndrome, but that's the last thing comes in my mind. There are days when my daughter is not able to do something, then it strikes me, okay, she has Down syndrome. Maybe it's not that easy for her. It's not a daily thing for us. Yes,
Yeah.
that's the
No,
last
for
thing.
me, my closing comment would be that while you wait for 3 years, please go ahead and see the special need portal. Please register and log into Facebook pages like For and Off Heart Babies. Get on WhatsApp groups of adoption groups. You will see so much chatter around immediate placement, special need. I had to only go and search for that word, and I got so many parents who probably knew that agency or knew that condition. And like Smriti mentioned, all parents come from a different bandwidth that they can invest in a child. Every special need has a very wide spectrum. It can be mild to severe. Some of them you won't even realize that you dealt with so much at the start, like a low birth weight, preterm, or like Meher, very mild cerebral palsy. Maybe she didn't even have it the way things are going. So for all you know, like Kavita said, and like for me, how I got lucky, you may just get to meet the child on the other end, fall in love with that child, and things work out. Of course, like I said, but come with acceptance of the worst case that could happen. Come with a mindset of providing love and a family to the child, whichever category. Don't do it out of charity. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, so it has to be about the child, and child's got nothing else.
Also, yeah, don't forget to check the special need list, as Anushri said, because I didn't waited for, Veda. As my home study got completed, there was a list. I was looking at the list and there I found her. And that's why she came within 40 to 45 days. So don't miss that chance. If you think, don't wait for the referrals. Like, okay,
Yeah.
let's wait. You can check the list. It's all available all the time, and there is no waiting period. The best part.
Yeah, and I reserved thrice. The Meher was third acceptance. Nothing happens to your seniority. Like I said, don't go and shop. Genuinely have interest to accept the child for whatever reason it doesn't work out. It's fine. But absolutely nothing happens to your seniority for downloading the ME or even clicking the reserve button. So know that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. Thank you so much to all the audience. Thank you for the questions. I'm so glad all of you could make time, join us, and listen to us today. If you want to know more about our work, I've shared the websites with you. You can always look at www.waic.in and know more about the work that we do. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, and have a lovely day.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.